Hello, this is part 5 of the DIY 2x72 inch belt sander. Today we'll be talking about how I'm going to make the grinder. This consists of 2 plates, some nuts welded on the back, and then 2 axles coming out of it. So let's get started. So I just got back from the store and they were selling this metal sheet. It's 1/8 inch, so it's not crazy thick, but I'm hoping it'll work. And these are all the things that I have to cut out of it. So I got a big enough piece for that and a little bit more. So I'm going to be using these to make my table, to make the grinder part where the wheels sit, 2 wheels, and then this part is the flat part against the grinder so I can push something against it and then get it sanded. And these are the brackets that go on the side of the belt sander, just like that. So I'm gonna start cutting out some of these, and this is also galvanized, as you can see. It's kind of shiny, but I heard when you weld galvanized steel you gotta really grind it down so you can get this coating off, because it emits a poisonous gas. So if you're doing it with galvanized, be careful. Wear a mask or something, protect yourself. So I'm gonna cut these out. Got the grinder back cut out, and the grinder, there's gonna be the 2 wheels here and here. This is gonna go like this, and then I want it to be able to slide forward and backward in case I want to be able to grind against it or maybe move it back a little bit. So I'm gonna make these slotted things that are gonna mount to here, one on top, one on bottom, so I can slide it up and down on this. So now I'm gonna have to drill a couple holes and try to get this out before I cut these out, because it's gonna be easier to do it on a bigger sheet rather than if I cut these out and then try to do it. So I got the holes drilled. Not pretty. This one's a little better. But now I'm gonna try and use the smallest cutoff wheel I have to try and just cut through these little things so I can make kind of a slot. Alright, so here they are after a little bit of angle grinding. Probably gonna finish them off with a Dremel and then we can weld them. So I finished these up. I cleaned them up with a Dremel a little bit so they look decent. So these are going to be bolted to this piece like this, but then this one is going to be welded to these, and then anytime I just want to adjust it in and out, I can just loosen those bolts and then just move it this way or move it this way. So next step is to weld these essentially brackets to this grinder back, and then I'll be able to make holes on this grinder right here, and it only has to be 2 holes. It doesn't have to be slots because the slots are done here. So I have this angle piece secured to this grinder back, and I'm just gonna stick a couple welds in here so I can get it to stick, and then I'll weld the whole thing across. Alright, so now I put some bolts and washer nuts on the other side, and it's pretty smooth. That should work. Now I can adjust it from behind the belt and then up to the belt depending on where I want it. Alright, so next to do is to put, or at least to make the holes in this so I can put it on here. So I've marked the center here, and I think I'm just going to reuse this hole because on the other side, conveniently, it has a bigger diameter hole which I can fit a socket in, so I can just go right up against that. So I'm going to drill out the hole. It's going to go basically here, and then I also need to make the slots, so I'm going to have to drill another hole, and then when that is done, I'll be able to tilt it like this. So I drill the hole, put the bolt in, this is how it looks. Next I have to just do the slot, which is going to be really annoying to drill a ton of holes and then maybe Dremel it out. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that, but that'll allow me to go from 2 holes to keep it in and secure. Okay, so I Dremeled this out and it looks okay. Now I just have to make a hole on this side right there, so then it can pivot in and out. For the axle, for the wheels on the top and bottom, I'm going to be using this, which came out of the treadmill and had the 2 bearings on one on each side. And then I'm going to use this saw I found on the side of the road for free, and a cutoff wheel. So I just welded a tiny little thing in the middle of the shaft because the bearing rides on it really loosely, so I'm going to grind this down so that it's a little bit bigger than the shaft, so then I can pound on the bearing in the middle when I'm done. So both of them are welded now. So they're both on there. The bearings are gonna go just like this. So this is what we have now for the grinder. The axle type things, the movable grinder back, and then this one over here. On the other side, I just welded in these nuts so that when I want to adjust this table, all I have to do is undo these. I don't have to worry about holding a wrench to this side as well, so that should make it easier. I might make little handles that go on this so I can just undo it, do it, and then screw it back in. Make it a little bit easier. Alright, so here's what we have so far. The grinding mount, the side, all welded together. I just welded this onto here, onto the tracker arm. And on the other side of these nuts, or on the other side of these bolts, are just welded on nuts so that I don't have to keep going to the other side to adjust. Next, I will be doing the table that comes off here that I can set stuff on to grind to. Alright, so there you have it. We have finished the grinder, and on next episode we are going to work on the table for the DIY belt sander. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.